is full, 1,000 plus people. It perhaps put the focus that there are good listeners for technology-oriented things, isn't it?
Yes.
What makes this seminar special?
This seminar is special because of the theme which has been chosen for this seminar. As more and more new disruptive technologies emerge, if we have to insert these technologies into aerospace sector, we have to be able to do the certification process much faster and at a much lower cost. Today the cost of certification is very high because we do certification by experimentation. That is the reason why newer technologies don't get introduced as fast in the aerospace sector as in other sectors because of the cost and time involved for certification.
And we also need to go abroad in some cases.
No, we have to go abroad for testing because we don't have those test facilities in the country. So if we now move to a modeling and simulation based approach for certification or certification by modeling and simulation, we will be able to cut down the cost as well as the time. We will still have to do a few experiments to validate what our models are predicting. But this is an essential requirement going ahead. And this is the topic of the today's seminar. That's why I think it has drawn such attention from all people working in the aerospace.
Certification is an area perhaps even the media doesn't give much focus because it is not a very spicy subject to report. And also when you speak to, let's say, the players in the field, whether it is HAL or ADA or anybody for that matter, they are the policemen, right? So quite often, I'm not blaming them, but since it's a very critical part of any music program, what are the areas even the certifying agencies need to focus now to catch up with the times?
I will come back to my answer, what I gave. The certifying agencies now have to move to a new paradigm. Okay. They should not insist on everything to be proven by experiment.
Right.
They have to go to this new paradigm where the designer can prove them that what they are doing will ensure the safety and reliability of the platform. So they have to move to this new paradigm. But it is going to be a challenging task to move to a new paradigm. Because we have to generate new models. We have to validate those models. But we have to start this process. Eventually, we have to reach a point where we have to limit the number of experiments that we do to validate.
Right.
You cannot avoid certification because then if you avoid certification, the changes which you need to do during the design phase causes much less cost and time. If you avoid certification processes, then once you go into production, if those changes have to be done, the cost and time implication of those changes is much larger. So certification is a must because you have to ensure reliability and safety of the platform. But there is a need to move to a new paradigm first.
So when you take DRDO now, it's 2025, there are many programs, on, area LCM Mark II, AMCA, TETF, unmanned systems, and on missile front, a lot of new missiles coming in. So there is a whole lot of new technologies at different levels being embedded in different DRDO labs. As the captain of DRDO, considering that quite often people blame DRDO for delays, all that. What are the things you feel that now, as you said, certification guys also be little liberal in terms of what are the areas that we need to focus just to perhaps catch up with the lost time?
So there are several things which we are doing to catch up with the lost time. One is to improve our internal efficiencies. So we have initiated a set of reforms which will improve the internal efficiency, that is our procurement processes, our sanctioning processes. Then we are going fully digitized. We are planning for a ERP for the entire organization, which will then improve our internal efficiency. Second is we are involving industry as our DCPP partners during the design and development phase. We are also working now closely with academia and startups to speed up the R&D process. So there is an R&D process to take the TRLs to TRL 3 and 4. Then there is the design and development process for any system where we are involving larger industries as our partners, and then speeding up the certification process and improving our internal efficiency. So this is what we are trying to make sure that our future projects, we don't have those delays that we have experienced now.
Project questions, we will keep it for a separate interview with Aero India. And finally, something which is very close to your heart, you have been talking to me about is the Young Scientist Lab. I met some of those fellows and I'm going to request story. How far this YSL concept, which is very close to Prime Minister's work, that is done up now? It's almost 3-4 years?
5 years.
5 years. So have they taken shape, young leaders?
Yes. So we are looking at these Young Scientist Labs as the equivalent of startups within the DRDO ecosystem.
Right. 5 labs?
5 labs. But we are going to increase now. This year we will start one more Young Scientist Lab.
Sure.
And they are doing very well
Right.
for their mandate which they have been given. They have started delivering. And I'm sure this experiment is going to bring in a lot of new disruptive technologies within DRDO. So I am very hopeful of continued success of these laboratories.
Yeah, so that's it. Very busy man. Perhaps the most communicative chairman of DRDO I have interacted with in the last 3 decades. So we will hear from Dr. Samir Kamath more at DRDO stall. That will be the part 2. Signing off from the first day of DRDO seminar.